Hello, this is John Kellogg, and as the Vice President of Business Development at Listingbook, I'd like to welcome you to the first of our 2016 series of webinars. We have created the Listingbook Agent Success Series in response to questions and even concerns voiced from real estate agents who, like yourselves, want to learn how to better take advantage of current technology and marketing trends. Our goal at Listingbook is to help you create clients for life, and I believe you'll find the content of today's webinar both relevant and actionable in regards to the very important topic of how to prepare your social strategy for 2016. To address our topic of building your personal, your social strategy, Jordan Shelkin and Justin Kirby are the managing partners of Cave Social, and they'll be sharing with us. Just to give you a little background, Cave Social is a digital marketing agency that specializes in real estate marketing. They provide social media support, branding, and advertising to agents and brokerages to help them grow their presence online. Jordan and Justin are also contributors to Inman News, Riz Media, and RE Technology, and have written on a variety of topics ranging from search engine marketing to personal branding and beyond. Today they're going to be talking with us about how to prepare your social strategy for 2016. So without further ado, I'll pass the mic off to Jordan and Justin.
Hey, thanks, John. Thanks for the kind words. We're excited to be here, excited to help out, and hopefully provide some great knowledge to agents today on this webinar. As we go through, guys, just so you know, if you have any questions, you're actually able to put those in the chat, and we will answer questions as we go and also open it up for a big Q&A at the end. So if you have any questions, it doesn't matter how personal it is to you or if it's a more generic question, we're happy to stay on and answer questions. Today, we'll also be answering questions on Twitter, and if you're on today and you have your Twitter open on your desktop by chance on your phone, use the hashtag RETalk, and with that hashtag, we'll go through and we can answer any questions there as well. And you can see here we actually have the handles if you want to tweet it, Listingbook, myself, or Justin. You can go through and tweet any questions you have to us. If you get a question late tonight or early tomorrow, don't hesitate to tweet at us with any of the questions, and we'll be able to help you out. So what's this webinar about? What it's really about is 2016, but making your best effort to connect with people online. So for that, we're going to talk about some of the new features to Facebook and Twitter. We're also going to spend a decent amount of time talking about the digital game, and more so how we're not really in it. We're in the attention game. We want to make sure that wherever our customer goes, we're going with them. We're also going to talk about a commitment, a commitment to playing the long game when it comes to your marketing, especially with social media. It's more important on social than anywhere else. But nonetheless, we're going to start with Facebook and Twitter, go over some of the new features to Facebook and Twitter that you might not know about. So these rolled out over the last 90 days. The first features that we have and we're going to talk about are on Facebook. So Facebook has a couple things that they've released in the last 30 to 45 days, one of which is Facebook Live. So a lot of you may have heard of Periscope and Meerkat. This is Facebook Live's or Facebook's answer to those. Facebook Live is a live streaming feature within Facebook. So if you have a business page, you can actually live stream and show what is going on real time to your fans. All of your fans will get notified as well that you have started live streaming. It's a great way to, in real estate, to definitely show an open house. That would be the primary function that I would use it in, and to kind of show the atmosphere that you've built up around that open house. If you have a ton of people there, that would be a great use of it. The other thing that they've released is multiple photos for ads and articles. So if you have an article that you're posting and you have a couple photos within that article, you can actually have all of those show up now when you post. So this is really cool because it lets people get a deeper look in your article before clicking. And when they do that, they're able to tell if it's really a piece of content that they'd like. So that's a cool feature.
And one of the other things about the multiple photos for ads that's so great is it actually brings down the cost of your ads if you're running Facebook ads as opposed to just running a single photo. So if you are running Facebook ads, be sure to be adding multiple photos because it's just going to make it cheaper for you in the long run. The other two things that we want to talk about Facebook-wise are autoplay right now is big in Facebook. So if you'll notice that if you're scrolling through Facebook, if there's a video, it'll just start autoplaying in your feed. That's a great way to get in front of people. If you have a raw video file of a listing that you have, you can upload that onto Facebook. You can pay to boost it so that more people see it, or you can just do it or post it organically, and your videos will start auto-playing in other people's feeds. The last thing here that we want to talk about with the new features is Instagram ads. This is another thing similar to multiple photos that is actually bringing down the cost of your ads on Facebook. It's very easy in Facebook's back end to set up Instagram ads. It's virtually the same way that you set up Facebook ads. It's just going to bring your cost per click down because Instagram has such high engagement. So we definitely recommend checking that out.
And those are all great new features of Facebook. And go on, play around with them, see what you like, see what you don't like, and how it can help you out with your business page. Now, moving over to Twitter. Twitter used to have this thing called favorites, and you're able to favorite tweets, but they kind of got with times. They realized that most social networks are using likes to signify and being able to mark up whether it's a Facebook post, which we're all comfortable and with liking Facebook posts, and with Instagram as well. So Twitter actually introduced likes, so now you can like tweets, and it will go under your likes section on your Twitter profile. They also introduced Twitter moments. So what Twitter moments are is Twitter actually goes and looks at the most popular hashtags and the news around the world and pulls that all together in one stream for you. So you can kind of go and really dive into what's happening right now on Twitter, and you're able to see it all on one screen instead of going through and clicking all of the hashtags and seeing. So it's putting together an isolated news feed within Twitter for you. It's great. It's great, especially if you're following the trends that are local to your county or local to your state. You can go quickly see, hey, is anything going on today that I need to be really aware of with my marketing, or are there any pieces of news that I think would be great, maybe at a national level, that I would bring down and share? So just be aware of this. It's not a huge thing, but it's definitely cool and definitely useful to stay on top of these social networks and some of the new features that come out. So into the webinar, and one of the things we really want to do is provide some useful value to you guys. So we're going to talk about, this is really the core too, we're going to talk about attention. When we're putting together marketing efforts and we're doing it on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever it is, really what we're trying to do is capture consumer attention. We're trying to get people who are our clients, our friends, whoever it may be, we're trying to get their attention. Now, getting attention is one thing, keeping attention is another. If we look back and we think back to 1950, there were 3 TV channels in 1950, and that's all you really had for media to consume. And the plain truth is commercials worked. They were new, they were awesome. You couldn't do anything other than watch TV. You had to watch your program at a set time. Now, we all have Netflix. We all have PVR shows. If we do actually have to watch a TV show at the time that it's on, chances are we're muting the commercials and actually pulling out our phone to check Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So really what it looks at is your potential customer is doing the same thing. When a commercial comes on, they're pulling out their phone and they're going on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So the customer's attention and consumer attention in real estate has shifted, and it's shifted online and it's shifted to social media. So we're going to talk about how we need to shift with them. One of the other things we want to talk about is real estate and email. We know that email marketing is a huge part of a lot of real estate marketing plans. The truth, though, email open rates are half of what they used to be in 2005 because it's really harder to stand out. People aren't checking their email as much, or they are, but they're making sure that all of their stuff goes to a promotions tab so they don't have to go in and see it. So with more people emailing all the time, it's saturated, and there's not as much opportunity really to get that consumer attention. So we really want to look at where can we move and where can we be to get consumer attention. So this comes down to the core principle. We need to be where our customers are, not where we want them to be, right? Commercial companies want you to watch commercials, but the truth is you're not watching commercials. just like people under 40 don't really want to talk on the phone. You know, you might enjoy it and think, hey, I'm a people person, I want to talk on the phone. Millennials, look, they're the biggest home buying and selling generation ever. They're going to beat out the baby boomers. They're not comfortable talking on the phone. They're comfortable talking on the phone if it was set up and scheduled before. But calls out of the blue, they don't want that. So what do we do, right? We want to talk to these customers and these millennial buyers and home sellers where they are comfortable. So that's on social media. That's where they can research you a little bit, check out your Facebook, check out your Twitter page, see what you're talking about before they reach out and contact you. The same thing comes. You might not be on Instagram, but your potential buyers are, and they're moving there in droves. People, we know the average first-time home buyer is 31 years old. They are all over Instagram. So if you're looking for new people and new people that are coming into the real estate market, Instagram is a place to be.
And I think one thing that we want to stress there when we talk about, you know, millennials not wanting to talk on the phone is just be sure that you don't assume the way that people want to be contacted. Ask, because there definitely are people that want to speak with you on the phone, but there's a large majority of people that don't, and millennials certainly, for the vast majority, don't want to talk on the phone. They prefer to text or be contacted in email or on social media. So be sure you check with them to see what the preferred method is to contact people. And tying into Listingbook here, this is the Listingbook app, and as we've been talking about, I mean, the world is going mobile. That's how people are searching for homes now. With Listingbook's mobile app, you're actually able to share the app with prospects, and then they can get a Listingbook account, or with your clients. And then when they search using the app, you can see everything that they're doing in the back end. You can see what homes they're favoriting, what they're interested in. It's just a great way to capture that mobile traffic. We know that more than 50% of home searches now are coming from mobile devices, so this is kind of like a tool in your pocket that you can really use to capture an engaged audience. So we definitely recommend checking out the Listingbook mobile app.
Yeah, for sure. It's just so important to be on mobile. Like we said, right? We want to be where our customers are. Moving on. This year too, 2016. I know we're a little bit into 2016, but we're going to talk about this. 2016. I want this to be the year that agents and real estate professionals start conversations. A lot of times people build up a Facebook page. They build a Facebook page. They build a Twitter profile. They start tweeting, and they say, "I don't have anybody engaging with me. Nobody likes my post. Nobody sees my post. Nobody comments." Why would they, right? It's your job to start the conversation. You actually have to go out and be proactive. So on Twitter, that means looking up at the hashtag. You know, if you are in Charlotte, North Carolina, look up the hashtag Charlotte. See who's talking about Charlotte. See who has questions. Jump in the conversation. You know, you don't jump in and tweet them, "Hey, buy or list with me." But what you do if somebody is talking about the Parks, or talking about maybe it's the Carolina Panthers going in this weekend into the playoffs, jump in and say, "Can't wait for the game." Because they're not getting contacted either. So when people get an engagement, they start to feel all warm and fuzzy, and they're going to go and they're going to check out who you are. So you can see here's a shot from my Twitter feed, and I'm just going out and I'm tweeting at people. We see Shelly Stone here at the bottom, and I typed in hashtag real estate, and she was tweeting about retention numbers and how to get them up. And I just tweeted at her and I said, you know, retention numbers aren't really focused on real estate, and they should be. And we went back and forth. Now Shelly's actively following my Twitter feed, and she's also actively engaging with what I'm saying. So I went out of my way and said, hey, I'm going to talk to this person. I'm going to start the conversation. And if they're smart and if they're handling their business properly when it comes to social media, they're going to talk back. It's fun, right? They want to be on social media to be social. So don't be afraid to be the person who takes that first step. And then after that step, what do you do? One of the things you want to do is make sure you keep that conversation going across networks. People who are on LinkedIn and people who check it daily, and people who are on it once every 6 months, I find it's either one of the two. A lot of times it's just updating your page, posting stories again, getting no engagement on your page. Or you get an email from LinkedIn which tells you to endorse people for a bunch of skills that you don't know if they have or don't have. And everyone here has probably gotten an email saying, hey, you've been endorsed for a skill that you don't have. And you go, okay, and you add it to your profile. People see through that. They don't really mean anything, right? But what you can do, and what I would do, is go and actually write a recommendation on LinkedIn for somebody that you've worked with in the past. If you have a client that sold a house with you or purchased with you, go to their LinkedIn, you can go and write a recommendation. It doesn't have to be crazy. It can be 2 or 3 sentences. But all you have to say is, hey, Susie Smith was a pleasure to work with. I can't recommend her more. Her and her family were just nothing but class throughout the entire real estate transaction. Whatever you want to type, the person, right? If you spend the time, if you spend and write one of these a week, you will see all of the people that you've worked with in the past will send you thank you emails. They'll actually be reaching out to you, and you will be fresh in their mind, right? One of the other things it does is anybody who goes to their LinkedIn page, so you can see here I wrote on someone I've worked with in the past, Chrissy. Anyone who goes to Chrissy's LinkedIn page now, they see my name and my recommendation on her LinkedIn page. So not only, is it the people, is she feeling warm and fuzzy and more likely to refer business my way, but people who go to her page now are going down and seeing, hey, she's professional. If people are recruiting her or looking to work with her, but also, hey, who is this person who wrote on her page, and what's this person about? So you're really just increasing your exposure. And lastly, and most importantly, if you did have a great transaction or a great time working with that person, tell them about it, right? Tell them you had a great time. That's one of this, one of the things. It's social media. Let's be social.
And you've also got to be sure that, just keep in mind, if you're recommending people in person, in real life, don't be afraid to recommend them on LinkedIn. If you have partners that you work with in your neighborhood, if there's a certain mortgage broker you recommend or a moving company you recommend, go on LinkedIn and recommend them on LinkedIn as well. They're going to turn around and do the exact same thing for you, and it keeps the conversation going with the people closest to you. So that's a great tip. Next here we've got the share functionality of Listingbook that we want to talk about. When we talk about providing content on Facebook and Twitter, typically what we recommend doing is giving, and then finally asking. We're going to touch on that a little bit later on in the webinar here, but by giving, what we mean is providing value in ways like giving people articles on, what first-time home buyers should know, or things you can do to increase your property value. That's giving to your consumer. But when it comes time to ask your consumer to work with you or to learn a bit more about you, you want to do that in the best way possible. And we find that using the share functionality with Listingbook is a great way to capture an audience of prospective clients. So what you can do with Listingbook is when you have an account, you can actually share your account on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, via email, Pinterest, and any of the social networks. And once you share it, anyone that clicks on that link that isn't already a client of yours can sign up to create a Listingbook account, and then they get all of the great search functionality that comes along with Listingbook. If you already have a client and they're searching with Listingbook, you can see what they search for, and you can share, favorite the properties that you can see the properties that they favorite within Listingbook. So it's a great way to keep the conversation going after you've provided some value on these major social networks. It's a great way to ask them to come work with you, and it's not a hard sell. It's a soft sell, and people are generally very interested to come in and see the power of Listingbook because it is such a powerful search tool. So it's definitely something that we really like about Listingbook, and we think it's a great way to ask prospective clients to come and learn more about you.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that, as we get approached to lead webinars, we go and we always ask for a demo of the product, and this was just perfect with regards to continuing the conversation. So we can't recommend it enough. So we're going to continue, and we're going to get into some of the myths here and then break it down. What I really want to get across, right, is it's our job to create relationships online and then keep those relationships alive with useful interactions. Because when we look at how most people look at social media marketing right now, or blogging, or the website, whatever it is, this is how it's traditionally thought of, and this is how a lot of the agent community thinks about it, and it's wrong. And what it is, right, is they think, hey, I make some content, I do some social media blog posts, people click on my blog, and now they're going to buy or sell a home with me. And we all know, if we use social media, that that's just not true, right? We're going to check out someone's page. We might go to the BuzzFeed 2 minutes later. A coworker shows us a YouTube video, right? Our attention is really all over the place. And I just want to show you guys an example of this, where, Justin just touched on the give, ask, right? And this should be really the thought behind any of the marketing you do. But here is LinkedIn Pulse, and for those of you who aren't familiar with LinkedIn Pulse, it's a blogging platform within LinkedIn. And for those of you who were on the webinar last time, we are going to have a couple points that are similar to the last webinar, but I really want to stress them because they're just so important when it comes to marketing this year. So LinkedIn Pulse, what it does is it's a platform you can go and you're able to blog, right? And you're able to write blogs. And when you do and you post something, everyone on your LinkedIn is notified but with a push notification. So that means that their phone buzzes. Or when they LinkedIn, they have a little notification and they go up and click it and it says, hey, Susie Smith just posted a post. Now, here is a real estate agent I was connected with on LinkedIn, unfortunately, who continually posted his listings on LinkedIn Pulse, thinking, hey, everyone gets a notification. That's awesome. Hey, everyone's seeing my listing. But he wasn't thinking deeper that, hey, I'm annoying people, right? Their phone goes off when they're in the middle of their lunch break or they're in the middle of their work day about a listing. It might not even be close to them. It might be 5 counties over, might be 5 states over. So it's got to be really thinking about the end consumer when we're posting and where these messages are going.
And when you do this kind of posting on LinkedIn, really you're trying to hope that you catch one person at the bottom of the funnel. But while you're doing this, you're eliminating all the people at the top of the funnel. And it's not a good trade-off because I got to be honest, you're probably not going to catch that one person that's ready to buy with a post like this anyways. So just be sure to continue to give. Don't ask every day. It gets too much. You gotta give content to people that they want to read and that they care about.
So how does it really work? How it really works is, you make some content, you do some social media blog posts, some social media posts and blog posts. People click on that content. If people like the content, they remember. And then if they like the content and they see more content come across their social media feed, they click on it again. Then they're able to build a relationship with the brand. And in real estate, make no mistake about it, your face and your name is the brand. They're able to build a relationship with you. And when it comes time to buy or sell, after you've been with them and shown your expertise, over a long period of time, maybe it's over 5 posts, maybe it's over 50 posts, whatever it may be, they know that you're an agent who is well informed and that has been with them all along the way of the conversation. Think about it like this. If you have a funny joke, right, and you tell a funny joke, that's all it is. It's a funny joke. But if you can string together 5 funny jokes, you're a funny person. And people now, they don't remember the joke, but they remember you as the funny person. The same thing comes with real estate. If you can put useful information and useful articles out there or useful posts, that's a useful post. But if you can put 5, 10, 25 useful posts, now you're a useful resource. And people are going to come back and they're going to pay attention to you. So what's an example of this? We've said it a couple times, but remember this, give, ask. We want to give. In any relationship you have with a client or any potential client, you should be giving 51% of the value to. This value can be time, information, effort, whatever it may be. But when we have a real estate sales cycle that is 5 to 7 years long, right? People are buying every 5 to 7 years. We also know 85% of people would like to go with the same agent, but only 15% do. This is because we're always focused on the next kill, the next sale, the next lead, right? But we don't actually go back and foster any of our old leads or foster anybody who might be 2 years away from buying, 3 years away from buying. So how do you do that? You do that by producing content that gives to your audience. And what that could be, see we have Jessica Edwards She's an agent out of North Carolina. She just 5 tips for first-time home sellers, and she films herself in the car. 5 easy tips. Now she's got 3,000 views on this video. If you ask Jessica, hey, how many leads does this get you? You spent 20 minutes. You spent all 20 minutes filming. You spent 20 minutes uploading. Maybe promoted it for 50 bucks on Facebook or wherever she did. You say, what's the ROI on that? She might not have a perfect answer for you, but she could ask you, what's the ROI on a newspaper article or on a newspaper ad? What's the ROI on a bus bench ad? And you wouldn't have an answer for her either, right? But what we know is we can get exact numbers. We can get exact numbers out of anything that we do with social, and that is so powerful because now we can truly measure. Right? We can put a bus bench ad up. We don't really know. We can send out mailers. We can send out mailers to the whole neighborhood, but we don't know if people are just in a race to throw those out or if they actually read and saw your name. So these people here have went and actually sought out real estate tips. And then they found Jessica's useful information. She's able also to start building a relationship with the viewers, with anyone who comes by, long before there's ever a sale. And if you go and look at Jessica's, I literally found Jessica out of nowhere when I was searching for real estate tips. You go and look at her Facebook, Twitter, everything. She's a prime example that I would take into other markets and do because she's really mastered this give, and then ask. You don't want to be just give. You want to make sure, too, that there is an ask involved.
Yeah, and when it comes to the ask, being able to share a property detail page is so important. And Listingbook bakes that right into every property detail page that they have. So if you have a home that you think is perfect for someone, you can share it directly with them via email. You can also share it on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. It's built right into the platform, and it makes it super easy to get the right property and run in front of the right people. So it's another great way that Listingbook makes it easy to capture clients and to retain clients once they do get into the Listingbook system with you. So it's definitely worth checking out.
Moving on. When it comes down to social, and it comes down to this, and we're talking about give, ask, it's starting conversations and all of these things, they're really about the long game. And social media you probably heard this before, maybe previous webinars, but people say social media is a marathon, not a sprint, right? And it's so true. You don't know when the marathon's going to end and when you're going to see those results. And where a sprint, you could sprint and see no results. So what I mean by that is, if you're producing content and you are truly putting, effort, research, all the stuff, and putting time into it, you're going to see results. And here is something that I want to show you guys. So this is actually a post that I did, and I probably put 10 hours into writing a blog post. And I went and I posted it on LinkedIn Post. I was all excited, and I got 74 views. Now, I can do one of two things. I can be mad and say, oh, 74 views isn't a lot of views, right? Or I can be appreciative and think, holy moly, 74 people stopped their day to see what I have to say. I have a podium with 74 people around it for me to talk to that many people, that many warm bodies. That is insane that people would stop their day to see what I'm saying, right? But that's what I want you to take away. When you put a blog post out and it gets 25 reads, 30 reads, 30 is better than 0. Plus, you never know who's looking, right? One of those 30 people, though they may not buy or list with you, they might have a cousin who's ready to buy or list. So you never know. 30 people is a lot of people. And when you embrace the long game, it will pay off. If you continually do content that you've put a lot of effort into and you've really thought about and you've demonstrated, and it provides value to people, it will pay off. And you'll get these articles with 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 views. I promise you it will happen. It's one of those things, but this was the 20th article I put on LinkedIn before it went to 5,000 views. Same thing happens with articles we put on Inman, right? Some of them take off, some of them don't do so great. But it's that continued effort and becoming that wealth base of information. That's really what what'll help you when it comes to playing the long game. If you just commit and say, you know, if you're only willing to put in 3 weeks or 3 months into social media for something that could potentially grow your business for the next 10 years, right, then you're missing the mark. You really got to think this is now a crucial part of your business moving forward because it's where your audience is. Awesome, guys. So I just want to wrap it up and I want to thank Listingbook for bringing Justin and I on this webinar. We're really excited that Listingbook sponsored this webinar, brought us in to talk. We always want to give value back to agents. We actually will be having another webinar. It'll be the 3rd Tuesday in February. We're in the chat, so if you guys liked what you saw today, sign up for that webinar, and it'll be us again. We'll be talking about marketing and mobile and how to best use Instagram and Snapchat. But with that, thank you guys a ton, and we're going to open it up for questions right now. So if you guys have any.
And before we get to questions, we always want to make sure also that that we're giving you guys an opportunity to see you know, the full power of Listingbook. If you'd like to sign up to get an account today, we're going to drop that link in the chat right now, or you can just drop in the chat, say yes right now in the chat, and we'll have a Listingbook coach reach out to you and set you up with your own Listingbook account. So just drop yes in the chat, or I'm dropping in the chat right now a link where you can sign up to be contacted. But without further ado, we get to the questions here, Jordan. Looks like we got a lot of questions.
Yeah, we got a couple questions coming in. Okay, Nadine, do you have Nadine is also on the webinar with us, and she was managing. If you guys said typed anything, she was actually helping you out and answering some of those back. But I see we got a ton of questions, Nadine. Was there any that kind of pop up as?
Yeah, we had several questions related to Facebook in terms of suggestions for growing followers. We had a couple questions, people saying that they've invited all of their contacts to follow their professional Facebook page, their business Facebook page, and looking for recommendations. Can you re-invite those folks, or what are some other ways to grow followers? And then also kind of a two-part question, your recommendations in terms of how frequently people should be posting content on Facebook.
Okay, awesome. So the first one was inviting people. Invite people to like your Facebook page, your Facebook business page one time. You don't want to become, you know, synonymous with Farmville and Candy Crush invites. So one time, hey guys, I started the new page. Then share. A better way to do it is to share your business page on your personal page and say, hey guys, I've launched a business page. I'd love all my friends and family to go over and give it a like, right? Your friends and family, you give a lot in those relationships. So now you're putting an ask out there. Hey guys, like my business page. And then you can start to separate your personal and your business page, because I know that's a growing concern. That's with agents, is how do I separate those? The second part of that, and how often, it was how often you should be posting, correct, Nadine?
Yep.
Yeah, with how often you post, honestly, what I would do is try to post every day. But to make that easier, what I would do is go and find a couple trusted news sources. So go and use a Twitter search. So if you go into twitter.com, there's a search bar at the top. Type in your county, type in your city, type in your neighborhood, whatever it be, and see if there's any news coming on your neighborhood. That's an easy way to go and actually get content that you can just repost. Or if you follow a couple local news outlets on Facebook and you're stuck for content, just repost some of their stuff. It's okay to be a content curator. You don't always have to be a content creator, per se. But I'd say try to get at least one a day up. If you feel like you're forcing it, or the quality's not there behind the content, then I wouldn't post it. But one a day is a good target.
Great. Thanks, Jordan. We also had some questions regarding suggestions for tools for posting in multiple networks. So do you have any of your top recommendations for posting tools?
Yeah, for sure. So before I answer that one, I do want to make this point, is a lot of people, they get Hootsuite or Buffer, which are two social media posting tools, and they link all of their accounts. But they make one crucial mistake, and that is they write one post and they share it on all 4 platforms. That's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. And here's the problem. Those platforms are different, right? We wouldn't think about it like this. Twitter is a dance floor. Things are happening really quickly, right? The DJ's playing a different song every minute. To keep up, you gotta move a lot. You gotta really pay attention. You gotta be engaged. Facebook's kind of like a sit-down restaurant, where you're at the front. You're able to have a little bit of a slower conversation with people. And LinkedIn is the bank down the road, where you're trying to get a loan. So you wouldn't wear the same type of clothing to those 3 situations, nor would you act the same. You might be yelling on Twitter where you're talking slowly on Facebook, and you're more professional and buttoned up on LinkedIn. So we want to make sure that your messaging is different on all 3 as well. So that's just something to be cognizant of, be really aware of. What I would say, Buffer app for agents, it's bufferapp.com, and I will type that in to the chat. I believe it's like $10 a month, and you can link all of your accounts. You can add photos. They're a great piece of software.
Great. We also had several questions regarding boosting posts and paying for ads, whether it's on Twitter or boosting posts on Facebook. And so which ones do you recommend if you had to pick, the top places to allocate some media dollars, and how do you go about boosting posts and advertising through some of the other networks?
For sure. So right now, what I would do is I would just look at, attention is so key, but also the attention of people who can purchase homes. So the 45 to 65-year-old demographic is the fastest growing demographic on Facebook. Facebook is king of social media. It's no secret. But what I will say is, if you go on Facebook right now and you look at how people aged 45 to 65 are acting on Facebook, they are so engaged. They are engaged like I was in college when Facebook first came out, posting on walls, sharing pictures daily, updating statuses. It's literally, it's really, really interesting to see. And what this gives you is an opportunity to get attention. And you can do it at a fragment of the cost that it would be for newspaper ads. So to put this in for an example, if you were to go and buy a newspaper ad that about 4,000 people would see, that would cost you about $35. So it's $35 for 4,000 impressions. If you do that on Facebook and you want to get 4,000 people to see, that's going to cost you about $3.50. So not that newspaper ads don't work, but they're not the best bang for your buck. When it comes to Facebook against other platforms, it really comes down to your target demo. If you are targeting first-time home buyers, people who are looking to buy apartments, I would maybe toy around with some Instagram ads. With real estate, I'd shy away from Twitter. Only Twitter works a little bit better on retail goods. But I would say Facebook, if you're just starting off, you can't lose with Facebook. You really can't.
We're getting several questions regarding the next webinar. It is scheduled for February 16th, and there is a link to register for that in the chat box. You can click on that link to register, and we'll also be sending out a follow-up email with that link. We received several questions regarding this presentation. It will be emailed. It's being recorded, and the recording will be emailed out probably this afternoon, Jordan. Is that right?
Yeah, it'll be this afternoon. We'll get that out to everybody with a link to download the presentation.
Okay, great.
Go
ahead, sir.
Oh, I saw a question pop up on why Instagram is asking this. Why is Instagram more popular than Facebook, or is it popular over Facebook? It's not in terms of people using it, but I do want to just say this: the reason that Instagram, and you've probably heard about Instagram and Snapchat, and we're going to talk about them a ton on the next webinar, why they are doing so well is because you can't automate them. You can't post and come off as a bot. It has to be, everything's real, everything is real time when you're posting. So when you're real and you're authentic, authenticity trumps everything. With regards to, you're able to go and post a real Instagram photo that you took some time to write a caption about, and you're going to see a bigger return.
Nadine, this is John. Wanted to be sure that everybody understood that the offer that we wanted to make also with the Listingbook account was a free 30-day trial that would include a coach to help get you set up. So if that's something you're interested in, a free 30-day trial with a coach, just put your name and your email address in the chat area, and we'll follow up with you.
Great, thanks, John. We did have a couple questions about that. Jordan, another question we've had a couple of in terms of for paid advertising on Facebook. Can you maybe help distinguish between some paid targeted ads and also boosting posts? We've had some questions about what you think is more effective and how you would allocate media spend between ads and posts.
For sure. So, so boosting posts and Facebook ads, just to kind of give everybody the context behind these. A boosted post is something that you've posted on your Facebook wall, so it's going to get organic reach. So anyone who, without paying a dime, you're going to get people who see it. But then you can also boost that post, so then you can get a little bit of targeting. For someone who wants to handle their own advertising and own Facebook advertising, this is what I'd recommend. Very easy to make an audience. It's very easy to see, who you're boosting to, how much it's going to cost you, and the post is already up on your Facebook wall. Now, Facebook ads and Facebook Ads Manager, you can do more targeting. You can do much more refinement. You can get a lot of times more out of it. However, it does take more time, and it does take, it's a much more complex back end. If you're comfortable back there, 100% go into Facebook Ad Manager and run some Facebook ads. But I would look at, if you're going to do, you're looking at your budget and how to spend, I would just look at, if you have, let's say, $500 for Facebook, a month, I would say, okay, I'm going to run $350 on ads, split between getting people to like my page and also people to click on some sort of offer or post that I have, and then about $150 on boosting would be the way I would break it up. So 70-30.
Jordan, can you give us your take? This is excuse me, an interesting question that came in. Do you feel that real estate websites are not as important as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram? Obviously, that's not the case. We know consumers are typically more likely to go to a Facebook page, but realtor websites are still important. Can you touch on that, please?
Yeah, for sure. So I don't think one is more important than the other. I think this is really what it comes down to. You need a website. If it's just your name.com, you need it. It doesn't have to be crazy. If it's something that your brokerage provides, get it. Because 57% of a sales cycle is done, contact a business. And what they're going to do, if they find your Facebook ad or they find something, they're going to punch your name in Google. If you don't have a website, though the website might not generate a ton of traffic and they might go and check out your social profile, if you don't have a website, it really screams that you're not in touch with modern marketing. So I think it's one of those things, go to GoDaddy or go to, even if you just want to do like a Weebly site, they're pretty cost effective and a lot of times you can build them yourself. So I would, they're different, but they're both integral parts of your marketing plan.
Okay, so I would guess the majority of our attendees today are in residential resale, but we do have some realtors on the line who are in commercial real estate and also work with investors. What would be your recommendation for those folks in terms of leveraging social media? Probably LinkedIn?
I think a couple of things. I think LinkedIn. I think Facebook is a useful tool because people go like this, right? Like B2B, right? But really B2B, that's business to business sales, which a lot of times commercial real estate can fall under. And then you know B2C, which is what we're all used to, residential real estate. But what people forget is on the other side of a B2B transaction, there's a person, and that person has Facebook. And if that person's in real estate investing, they probably follow a bunch of real estate investing pages on Facebook or accounts on Twitter. They're active on social media, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, talking about real estate investing. There's a handful of real estate investing groups that have discussions on Facebook. They post articles. Jump into the comment section. Start that conversation. Those people are real estate investors. They are who you want to be in front of. And as you build up and you start the conversation, I mean, go in and look for the hashtag REI, right? Real estate investing. See who's talking about it, and really take that same approach. You have expertise and you have value that you can bring to the marketplace online. Don't be afraid to show it. Don't be afraid to make those connections and reach out to people you may not have met in person, but you can connect with online.
Okay, that looks like we've covered most of our questions. Any other questions from the group, please type them in now. We'll make sure to address them.
Oh, I see one. What is my goal with Facebook? Ads, followers, likes, reviews. Okay, here's your goal. There's numbers, there's likes that I wouldn't really get concerned with. What I would do is, you know, you have to have kind of that minimum threshold, whatever it is, 300-400 likes, and you might have to spend $45 on Facebook ads to get that. But what you really want to focus on is engagement. How many people are clicking your posts? How many people are commenting? And Facebook Insights actually have engagement metrics, because 5 people who are engaged are more valuable than 5,000 followers. Followers are just vanity numbers. 5 people who are engaged are people who are actually going to talk about you. So I would just make sure that we're really thinking about engagement and engaging people. Similar to if you were at a cocktail party, right? There's 5,000 people at the cocktail party, great. But if you can shake hands and have meaningful conversations with 5 of them, you're in better shape than having a sign at the front with your name on it. Did any others come in, Nadine?
Yes, so this is a good one we just had come in. If you work with a small team, is it okay to have your marketing person post for you? And how do you remain authentic when someone else is posting on your behalf?
Okay, so this is something we encounter all the time. We work with teams and brokerages, and we actually take over their social media, and we'll do it on their behalf. What it comes down to is employing smart people, but also don't make social media the thing that the lowest person on the totem pole gets, right? You want your most talented team member, honestly, sitting at that office, the person who's most savvy and in touch with, you want them handling social media, because it is the outward-facing brand. Also, if they are on your team, they probably spend a lot of time with you. There's a lot of communication back and forth. They should have a pretty good pulse on the type of stories you'd like to post. And what I would do is I'd get that marketing person to handle like 90% of the posts, and then you come in and do 10%, just to kind of keep your own personal flair there.
So this is one we often get, Jordan, and it's a legitimate question, right? There's so much to be done throughout the day, marketing-wise, not just social media, but social media, all marketing. How do real estate professionals have time to handle all of those tasks and still sell real estate? So I know you've got some suggestions in terms of prioritizing and scheduling. Can you cover some of that as well, please?
Yeah, for sure. So if you're just new to the game, it can be overwhelming. It can be a lot. There's all these networks flying around. It seems like there's a new, Snapchat, Hubzu, whatever you want to call them, are coming out. almost monthly. Just really hone in and put your efforts on Facebook, and you can honestly spend 10, 15 minutes a day updating your Facebook. You have a mobile phone. It's probably you're either on right now, looking on Twitter or checking your Instagram or email, that you can use to go onto Pages Manager and actually go into Facebook, and actually manage your Facebook page from there. So it really shouldn't take that much time. It's just a matter of getting it to be common practice. You know, if you have to spend 15 minutes a day while you're having your coffee in the morning, hey, I'm going to schedule some Facebook posts. And you can actually go within Facebook. You don't even need one of these other apps. You can schedule posts right within Facebook on your Facebook wall. So when people say they don't have time, I think they think it's a much bigger burden than it actually is.
So to that end, if I'm scheduling time throughout my day or in my week to post content, what are some good resources for content? That's a question we received as well. Is you know, you mentioned creating content and curating content. It's typically easier to curate some content. What are some good resources?
If you do have if your brokerage has a Facebook page and is producing content, a lot of times they'll produce useful content. If they're not really caught up, what I would do is I would go to the Forbes real estate section. I would look at there's a site called Biz Journal. Search for them and really just search for, it takes a Google search and all you have to do is search for news in your area. Remember, the news doesn't always have to be about, you know, the real estate market. People want to know about what's happening this weekend in the area, all those things that are with.
And then two other websites that we recommend if you're trying to find content. One of them is called StumbleUpon. So if you sign up for StumbleUpon, it'll give you a list of topics that you can choose to follow. Be sure to follow real estate and be sure to follow your local community. And from there you can click the Stumble button and it'll show you relevant articles to real estate and to your community. It's a great way to find new content. The other tool that we use is Feedly, F-E-E-D-L-Y. Feedly is sort of like an RSS aggregator on steroids. It can help you find content that's produced within your area around real estate. You can add all the great websites that Jordan was talking about, Forbes Real Estate, and Business Insider, CNN Real Estate. You can actually add that all into your Feedly account, so you get all of that content in one nice little place. So Feedly and StumbleUpon are two great tools.
Jordan, we've got a couple questions regarding Facebook Insights and measuring posts. Can you please define reach? What does reach mean? And then also how to measure engagement.
For sure. So in Facebook, if you go into Insights, you'll see the two things, reach and engagement. So reach is the total number. Reach is the total number of people who had your face or your post show up on their desktop. Think about it like a highway ad, a highway billboard ad, and if 10,000 people drove by that in the morning, the reach was 10,000, right? But if 50 people actually read it, then the engagement would be 50. So that's just on Facebook. People who actually stopped, clicked it, interacted, liked it, commented, whatever it is, they're all forms of engagement. I see too there's a question here about how do you know who is engaged. What I would do if you want to know who is engaged is I would look up retargeting or look up retargeting on Google, or I would put an email subscription form, ask people, so when you give, the same people are going to be engaged, right, all the time, and then say, hey guys, I'm starting an email newsletter, sign up here, because Facebook's not actually going to give you their names. So I would just go through and get people to maybe ask them to sign up for an email newsletter, so at least then you get the emails, and then you get to work backwards and say, okay, you know, that Johnny S. is John Smith that I know, or whoever it may be, and start your communication there. So in terms of getting actual names out of Facebook, they won't give you that. Okay, guys, we are going to end the webinar, but what I do want you to do, if you have questions, Justin and I are going to be on on Twitter for the rest of the day. You can tweet at us or use the hashtag RETalk. So I'm going to put that in right there. And you can get us there. I can't thank Listingbook enough for bringing us on today. I think the webinar was great. You guys were really engaged. We had a ton of attendees. It was just awesome. So we look forward to seeing you on more. And thanks again to Listingbook for having us on.